Hello everyone, this is my video on 4 new NHL rules to think about for the 2030 collective bargaining agreement. Uh, let's get right into it then. The first one is an offsides timer. If a missed or otherwise delayed offsides ends in a goal after 60 seconds, the goal will stand. An example of this would be Zegras' Michigan that got taken away because of an offside that was missed and then reviewed. And of course, play was over a minute after. So we missed out on a very big highlight goal, and I'm sure it was highlighted anyway. Zegras' Michigan goals have been talked about since he's been in the league, and he almost won the Calder for it. So, yeah. There's a couple others I could mention. Not namely, but I've seen a few, specifically one from the Red Wings a couple years ago that I just cannot remember when exactly happened and I could not find it. But yeah, that's a good rule to have, to be honest. In all honesty, I think this would probably undermine delayed penalties a little bit. Unless you want to play keep away and have boring hockey for like a minute and then try to go for it. That would be cool. Delayed offsides are power plays anyway, so you kind of don't need that in there, but yeah. The second one is an idea I've had for a little bit. It is roster reconstruction. So the first one will be 5 forward lines of 3 at 15 forwards, just for depth reasons. 4 defensive pairings for 8 defensemen, also for depth reasons, and 3 goaltender, 3 goaltender situation, whatever you want to call it, and E-Bug, emergency backup goalie. Yeah, I mean, this is for depth reasons, keeping the top players at their game because they play less minutes, but obviously these top players will want to play more minutes to, show off their talents. And this is just a general kind of idea of what the roster would look like. That's a 29, my apologies. And 3 bench players. I believe the NHL has 2, could be mistaken. So, yeah, just more depth, keeping the players more fresh, that sort of thing, keeping them at the top level. Ignore that for now. And my third idea, which is also kind of a controversial one, I'd say, is no more golden goal. Like extra time in soccer, if you have a 1-1 game that goes into extras after all of that stoppage time, and a team scores, like Inter Miami over PSG, they didn't score in that game. The game would still go on until 120 minutes plus stoppage time for both halves of extra time, and it would just be playing the full overtime. So longest game records would be at an even number, record-breaking scoring and length. I also wanted to change regular season overtime to 20 minutes. These two don't have to be together. I just wanted them under the same kind of thing because it's related to the same kind of area. Obviously, if you have a golden goal, you don't want to play 20 extra minutes, or if you do not have a golden goal, rather, you don't want to play 20 extra minutes of overtime in a regular season game. That adds up really quickly, especially with the NHL thinking about going into 84 games, possibly by that 2030 collective bargaining agreement. Yeah, that's a lot of minutes for hockey players to play, and that would be, in essence, why you would need more players and more depth. If they do that, more games is tougher for the players, because it's just straight up 2 extra games. But yeah, and playoff games go longer. This would be fun, obviously. I love playoff overtime hockey. It's my favorite thing about hockey. I have always loved overtimes, as long as I can probably remember. I remember the Columbus Blue Jackets game with Tampa when that went to, I believe, 5 overtimes. Could have been only 4. My apologies. But I remember when that game ended, having to be like, oh, cool. Missed an entire game of hockey. But we had it, technically. Just it wasn't scoring, and it was high stakes and high paced throughout the entire thing. And I love that about hockey. I want to keep that about hockey. Which kind of goes into this next idea. Sort of. All-Star game playing Omega Hockey. If any of you know about Omega Ball, the 3-team sport, it's in a circle, and it's soccer. There's one of the most interesting and weirdly complex things in all of sports. It's hard to follow, which is a downside. Its strategies are super complex because you're doing 2v1s the entire time. Not player-wise, but team-wise. You have to cover a lot more. And interestingly, 4-person chess is kind of similar. You have to take account of a lot more than what is normally kind of talked about, especially with how physical hockey is. This is going to be a difficult thing. Obviously 3 teams of 3 on circular ice. Otherwise, it's just like you're kind of stuck in the middle on a regular hockey rink, and it's hard to do because that's meant for 2 teams. So I don't know how the NHL is going to figure that out systematically, whatever. 2 20-minute halves. It's the All-Star game. They play less, probably less than 20 minutes, probably 15, maybe even 10. Top 2 scoring teams play shootout to win, just because of the fun factor of that. And there happens to be a tiebreaker for all 3 teams. Shots on goal, and if not, then a 5-minute overtime. So just kind of like using all of the rules of hockey currently would help with this All-Star game 3-team kind of deal. And obviously there would be a draft or something for this because there's only 12 players. That's not ideal for an all-star kind of thing, but it's an idea. I wanted to throw it out there. It's just kind of cool.